have read my book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Would you raise your hand? Thanks. For those that haven't, don't worry, I'll be talking a little bit about it today. But before I begin, I want to thank all of you for being here. Single largest audience I've ever spoken to, so my knees are a little shaky. And I want to thank the Yeager family for having me here. I'm honored to be in the presence of such alive people, so thank you very much. Before I begin, I'll give you a quick synopsis of my background. As I said, my name is Robert Kiyosaki. It sounds like Kawasaki. I wish it was Kawasaki. I would be a playboy in Tokyo today. But the name is Kiyosaki, and I am fourth generation Japanese American. I was raised in Hawaii, and when anybody comes up to speak to me in Japanese, I will have no idea what you're saying. I was raised in Hawaii and educated in New York. I went to, I love New York. When I was in high school, I was given 2 congressional nominations, one to the United States Naval Academy at Annapolis, Maryland, the other one to the United States Merchant Marine Academy at Kings Point, New York. So when I was looking at the brochures, wondering which school I was going to attend, I looked at the United States Naval Academy in 1965 when I graduated. Guess how much an ensign made in the United States Navy in 1965? $200 a month. And then I looked at the United States Merchant Marine Academy, and guess how much a graduate from the United States Merchant Marine Academy made in 1965? It was $2,000 a month. So when I looked at those 2 numbers, I said, now which one will it be? You know? So I went to the United States Merchant Marine Academy. I graduated in 1969. And my first ship, what the Merchant Marine Academy does is it trains ship's officers. So I sailed on the Love Boat as a 3rd mate. I also sailed on tankers for Standard Oil of California. My first port of call as a graduate in June of 1969 was a port called Valdez, Alaska. How many people have heard of Valdez, Alaska? Well, I wasn't the guy that hit the reef. So graduating in 1969, I was making about $42,000 a year, which is not bad for a 22-year-old kid. Back in 1969, it's worth a little bit more than it is today. And I was doing okay. But there was a thing in 1969 called the Vietnam War, and that was weighing heavily on my mind. And the reason the Vietnam War was weighing heavily was I was draft exempt, much like our president. I was draft exempt because my classification was non-defense vital industry, which means I was helping the war effort by delivering oil back and forth to the war zone. Yet it still disturbed me, so in 1969 I resigned from Standard Oil, letting go of a $42,000 a year job with 5 months vacation a year, and I took that $200 a month job with the United States Marine Corps as a lieutenant. And so in 1969, I reported to a place called Pensacola, Florida, where I went to Naval Flight Training School, and in 2 years I was in a place called Vietnam, defending our country and our president. So one of the only thing that disturbed me was it took 6 years, to sign up took 6 years out of my life. That was a long time. I could have been president in that time. Or governor. Anyway, I'm going to talk about Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and it's a true story. Some people come up to me and say, is it really a true story? I go, yes, it is. One's about my real dad, who was a PhD in education. Brilliant man, he graduated from university in less than 2 years. He then went on to Stanford University, the University of Chicago, and Northwestern University. The guy was an academic genius. And then my other dad was my best friend's father. And my best friend's father was a high school dropout. Now, guess which was the rich dad? The guy that dropped out of school, you know, because he didn't go to school. He didn't mess his mind up. Anyway, both dads recommended I go to college anyway. So Rich Dad, Poor Dad is about the story of these two different fathers recommending different things for me. For instance, my poor dad, the PhD, he always said to me, go to school, get good grades so you can find a nice, safe, secure, what? Job. And that was good if you were born before 1950 or 30, but today there isn't really a safe, secure job. They don't pay that well anyway. And what my rich dad said to me was, don't listen to your old man, listen to what I have to say. And my rich dad said to me, don't work for anybody else, build businesses. And what he said to me was, thank you. So I have, since a little kid, have been building businesses. And some of you, I talked to the rising stars yesterday, the directs, and I talked to them about one of the businesses that some of you may have heard of, and I was one of the first nylon and Velcro wallet people in the world. We built that company, took it way up very quickly, became very successful, and went down very quickly, but we still launched it.